Come on and tune into that old world charm. It's sweet delight. Yeah, that old world charm. They can spin some yarns to hold tonight.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another wonderful episode of That Old World Charm. We're here to review the brand new shiny coming out on day one release Arcane Journal for High Elves. I'm joined by the full triumph.
High Elves.
Yeah, I'm joined by that guy. Hello, that guy.
That's me. Hi, my babies.
You're the problem.
Danny, the High Elf player of the show, McDevitt.
Hey, Adam, I'm here today.
You are indeed, mate. So we've literally 2-3 episodes ago, you guys got the Empire Arcane Journal from us, and now we've got another one coming in hot. And I'm hoping this is the tail, like we get one every other month for the rest of the year.
I hope so too.
Then
That'd be
they're all
so
done.
nice.
Plus, Kislev. Oh, Jesus. That would be real nice. I'd be so happy. Mind you, if that does happen, we have so many human armies in supported human factions in the old world. We'd have Cathay, Kislev, Bretonnia, and Empire. Like almost half the supported faction. Well, sorry, a third of the supported factions would be just bog old standard humans.
Yeah,
Human adjacent. I mean, Kislev has polar bears, and Cathay has dragons and dragon adjacent stuff. And
wow, you showed me.
Adam.
And I mean, let's be honest. Warriors of
been more
Chaos.
diverse than it is right now.
Warriors
They're
of Chaos
also
are
humans.
Human. That's true.
Norska, if they come out, also human. Really, everybody's human on the inside.
Yeah,
except for the elves and the dwarves and the beastmen. Yes,
and the orcs and goblins.
Yeah.
And the,
yeah, those guys too.
None of those
Yeah.
matter. Tomb Kings used to be humans.
Exactly. So that is human adjacent. I will agree with that. Tomb Kings are human adjacent.
They just legacied all the non-human factions except for the ones that aren't human. Is what happened.
That's it.
Damn.
That's it.
That's deep, man.
I'm a deep man.
You are a deep man.
That's what they say.
It is. All right, we're going to jump right into the Trajan Warhost. Anybody following along in post, not on day one.
We're not even leading in with an introduction to the book or anything. We're just here's
I
a
was getting there. Here's a Warhost. Well, okay, fine. Let's do it properly. Let's do it like the actual run sheet that I wrote for this that I didn't reference once. Peter, hot takes on this Arcane Journal, my man. How does it rank up against the others, and how strong do you believe it is? All good.
I'll say the art piece on page 1 is really cool. High Elf Realms, and it's got the Trajan lion and the merworm on the other side. That thing is sick. Probably the best part of the book.
The art,
Danny,
on that one page.
the cover art's really nice too. Actually.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of that.
I think people.
My impressions of this book. Man, it has got some really great reference material for understanding high elves and how they fight battles, and also kind of some of the background of their empire.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to that, there's one fine army of infamy and one pretty shitty one. So,
yep.
I mean, but that's not too far off brand, right?
Yeah.
Well,
especially the last couple. Last couple of Arcane Journals have been a little lacking in the armies of infamy. I think the problem with this one, as we'll see, is you also don't get a lot of really amazing magic items, except for the not as good Army of Infamy, which gets some really good magic items.
I know.
Well, God, unfortunately.
I'm just going to come out and say it. I think this is the worst one. I think this is the worst Arcane Journal we've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, there's stuff in it. There's some good things, but yes, I think you're right.
Yeah, and despite that, there are still some good things. So as far as I can tell, the only Arcane Journal that's had 2 very playable armies of infamy is Orcs and Goblins and Tomb Kings. Everyone else has had a stinker and an okay or awesome one. Bretonians, 1 stinker, 1 really good. Empire, debatable. But yeah, apart from those, those 2, are both have very, I guess dwarfs kind of have both that are playable now as well. People have figured it out, so I guess they're up there as well. But this one, I'm not sure either of these touches aside compared to the Grand Army. In fact, I think all this does is make some of the Grand Army units better, more flexible. But now that we've said that, of course, you can come and join us over on part 2. We've got a swathe of listener questions, patron questions, answer on part 2 in our Patreon, which is at Art of War. Sorry, whoops. Damn it.
Art of War.
Never
What
mind, never
happening?
heard of that. I don't know who that organization is. That Old World Charm. Go find it, do it. We're professionals.
What is happening?
Wow.
Dickie,
You're
fix
great
it.
at there.
Cut that.
Fix it.
Dickie, cut it.
Dickie doesn't do what he's told.
No, we're probably gonna leave that in because it's funnier now.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Use your swear word searcher, and then when I say cut the minute prior.
Wow.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Page 28. The Trajan War Host. Daddy, my boy, my love. Tell us about this army of infantry composition list.
So, Trace, of course, is a woodland realm. It's an inner kingdom in Ulthuan, wherein it doesn't touch the outer coast. So they don't get raided as much, except they kind of do by these big monsters. And so a lot of like the elves in this particular province are really good at fighting monsters. And so they form the White Lion unit, which is also the Phoenix King's bodyguard. And this army of infamy reflects an army drawn from this particular province. This is a pretty cool province. It's got you get a lot of white lions in this list. There's a lot of lions.
Yep. You can take a
chock full
lot.
of lion, guys.
Yeah.
Like if you want to take axes, man, have we got the army for you?
Or lion cloaks. You can put a lion cloak on anything.
Everything. You want to make a dwarf jelly by the sheer amount of axes you have.
It goes with everything. Yeah.
You can legitimately have white lion or white lion adjacent dot list. You can just do that. That can be your army.
And I think that list is actually pretty good.
It's not. Yeah, it's not terrible.
Mainly because of the one new core that they get.
Yeah. I will say this army is sans cav. There's no cavalry you can take in this outside of chariots. That's chariots.
Those
line chariots. Chariots of chase. But it's chariot. It's mounted adjacent. But so this is a foot slogging list, and it has all the good things and bad things, mostly bad things therein. You do, however, get to take casters. You do get one prince or archmage per 1,000 points, 0 to 1 chieftains, new Trajan chieftains, stormweavers per 1,000 points, or just high elf nobles. 33% must be spent on spearmen, archers, Trajan woodsmen, which is the unit that Peter just mentioned, and you can have 0 to 1 units of white lions per 1,000 points. So your core can just be a unit of white lions or 2 if you want in 2,000 points.
But
do not do that. Special is 50% of your army can be spent on white lions, white lion chariots, and lion chariots. And then you can have 0 to 1 war lions per 1,000 points. Also, don't do that. And then red choice, 0 to 1 units of lion guard, which is brand new unit, and 0 to 1 units of shadow warriors or sisters of Avalon per 1,000 points, 0 to 2 great eagle per 1,000 points, and 1 bolt thrower per 1,000 points. Pretty restrictive when you consider the fact that Reavers are core in the Grand Army list. And also, like I said, there's no cavalry. There's no real flex here. You can't just get what you get. Danny, is this a big downside or an upside or something in the middle?
I think you have to really design the army from the stance that you want to take a couple of fast characters to deal with threats, because otherwise you're just going to get outcharged off the table. Like you need eagles and that kind of stuff too, I think, to make the list shine. And it's this is weird. This army, because of just the way it's kind of organized, is going to play more like wood elves than high elves.
Yeah,
but like
combat
wood elves, right? Like
combat elves. Yeah,
because like you basically everything in this list is going to be strength 6.
Right. I was thinking this plays more like dwarves than it does elves, because it's just blocks of great weapon infantry.
They're so much faster.
Like exactly right. That's like three times as fast.
It's if every
dwarf unit had an anvil.
Well, everything has moved through cover. Well, can have moved through cover in this list. Most of your units are going to be skirmishers, but skirmishers that are good in combat and good at shooting. Like, I think that this is definitely the better of the two lists, not only because of that, but also because you get access to archmages, which, as we'll see, the Sea Guard do not, and you get access to the prince. So you can still run a big scary, shitty, like 2+5+5+ dragon if you really wanted to, on top of all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
It does suck that you get access to 0 cavalry, but I think if they had let you, there'd be no reason to ever run Grand Army.
Correct. Right. I totally agree. Just adding Reavers to this army would mean this would be, I believe, just better than Grand Army. So
yeah.
All right. Special rules. Danny Boy gives the first.
So we have Tracian Pride. This you can only take the following honors: Shadow Stalker, Tracian Hunter, or Pure of Heart. And note that Tracian chieftains are considered to have the Tracian Hunter Elven honor for the purposes of joining the units of White Lions of Trace. So important to notice.
So what do those bonuses give? Just for
so Shadow Stalker is basically what lets you join Shadow Warriors. So you get like move through cover, evasive, fire, and flee.
And
plus
scouts,
you can take a longbow, infiltrate, or scouts. Tracian Hunter gives you the Lion Cloak rule. You can take a free the Great Axe, and you can only take a mount of a Lion Chariot. Also, Shadow Stalker limits you can only have like light armor.
Yeah,
as far as armor goes as well. And then Pure of Heart is just units within your command range can use your leadership. So it's like general, but not the general.
Of the ones that you were kind of wanted to take in this army anyway, there's only one that I think you're missing that you would have taken in Grand Army in this kind of build.
Yeah.
Which one is it?
The Safri one.
Yeah,
Safri.
Yeah. Missing out on Safri kind of makes you sad, but at the same time, and that's really just because you got that free killing blow sword, and you get a free great weapon instead. So it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I love that. I still love that they call it a special rule when it's actually just a restriction. Peter, what is the next rule?
Hidden trails. So the Elves of Trace are skilled woodsmen. This basically says, like, if you want to take spearmen or archers, 1 per 1,000 points can get moved through cover for an extra point per model. In addition, once per game, and this is kind of the better part of the rule, after rolling to determine if a unit with the Ambusher special rule that is currently in reserve as reinforcements arrives, you may apply +1 or -1 to the result. This is a little weaker than the other Ambusher rules we've seen from previous Arcane journals. But those were usually tied to a character, so like you had to take the character to get the rule. This is just like an army-wide run, and it's not too bad. The Tracian Woodsman can pay for ambushers, for example, and they're actually pretty good. I don't mind putting a unit in reserve.
But as we have learned, because this is only once per game, you are pretty behooved to just do 1 unit in ambush, not trying to make ambush a kind of archetype of its own.
Yeah.
Right. The last of the special rules is Warriors of Trace. Units of Elven Spearmen, Elven Archers within a Tracian Warriors army of infamy may have a Lion Cloak special rule for 10 points per unit. Danny, what's the Lion Cloak for people at home?
It's +1 to your save against non-magical ranged attacks.
Yep. It's not bad, but I don't really think you take it.
I just don't think you take spearmen, right?
You're not going to take spearmen. You might take archers, but you have a lot of shooting in this army already.
And if you're taking archers, like exactly right, you're most likely having Sisters of Avalon in here. Who's shooting the archers to make the value of the Lion Cloak when there's Sisters of Avalon to shoot, right? Who have the same save. So, yeah.
And there is one more special rule, but it's in a black box, right? And this is actually probably the
unknown reasons. Thing. I don't know why it's in a box, but here we are.
The Warriors of the Wilderness. So once you finish placing terrain, if you're running Tracian Warhost, you actually get a free terrain piece, like Wood Elves, except instead of being a forest, it's just difficult terrain, which goes with your move through cover ability. And unlike Wood Elves and any other like terrain piece, you can place this in the middle of the board. Correct. You just cannot place it in your opponent's deployment zone or within 6 inches of another terrain piece. So you can like drop I don't know, some quicksand or whatever you want to think it is directly in the middle of the board. And given that you have so much move through cover in your list, you can really screw up a lot of close combat armies game plans.
Straight up, this is one of the best bits of the army, I believe. And yes, maybe we have forgotten it an unmeasurable amount of times. You'll never know how many times we forgot to play with this in our test games. But every time we always thought back and we're like, damn, that would have been impactful. And yeah, it is impactful. What I don't understand, is that they say you can have difficult terrain measuring between 8 and 12 inches at its widest point. So you can have it just be 12 by 11.9 inches, yeah?
Legally? Or just a 12-inch circle.
Yeah, 12-inch circle. This can be real big, like very, very, very big.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, that is the Trajan goodness. Now, I always wonder, and I might ask you boys right now, do we just go to the Trajan units and tell people about those and give people the whole Trajan package, or do we just do it in order?
Well, the way the book's written, I think we should probably just do it in order because there's stuff all over the place. And like we have the new like Stormweavers, which show up in both armies.
Both. Yeah.
So maybe we just go in order of the book and then we can kind of touch back. We're going to be commenting on like what we think the quality of these units is anyway as we go, as we kind of already had. So, yeah.
Sea Guard Garrison is the next of the Armies of Infamy. The restrictions are as thus, Danny. Give us the lowdown.
So restrictions here for this is you can take 50% characters, which consists of Sea Guard Garrison Commanders or Stormweavers, which are both new units. You can also take 0 to 1 Dragon Mages, High Elf Nobles, or High Elf Mages per 1,000 points. So no level 4 access, spoiler alert, for the Stormweaver. Core, you have to take 33% core, which you can be spent on Lothran Seaguard and Ships Company, which is another new unit. And you can take 0 to 1 Shadow Warriors per 1,000 points, which is actually a nice core for this kind of army.
Mm-hmm.
And then special 50% Lothran Sea Cutters, 0 to 2 Great Eagles per 1,000, and 0 to 3 Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers per 1,000. And then up to 33% rare, which is Illyrian Reavers, 0 to 1 Flamespire or Frostheart Phoenixes per 1,000 points, or Merworms. And you can take a High Elf Noble or a Sea Guard Garrison Commander can be a Battle Standard Bearer in this army.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So, of course, this is, you do get cav, you get to be fast, you get to be shooty as well if you really want to by dint of the Bolt Throwers or Reavers and Sea Guard. You can shoot stuff. I really, the saving grace here for me is the Shadow Warriors in core. If you had to take Sea Guard and Ships Company for your entire core, I would be greatly worried. Greatly worried.
For people like when we get to them, Ships Company are just Ulthuan militia that are slightly better, very, very slightly, and they cost more points because of it. So.
To me, the core of this army is, if you really want to, you can do 33% of your army in just 2 units of Shadow Warriors. I don't know how good that would be, but you're going to be taking one of the special characters and likely a decent-sized block of Sea Guard, which I actually think, if you're playing this army, is not the worst thing. It's actually not too bad for various reasons. But the first thing I thought of when I looked at this army was like, oh, shit, okay, I'm just going to play Gyrocopters, but they're going to be Skycutters. Skycutter Swarm. Is that something we think could come out of this?
I don't know. Like Skycutters are cool. I don't know if like running 1 million of them is that cool, especially because this army, like the buff that they give to Skycutters is marginal when we get to the special rules.
Well, let's jump straight in. What's the Armies of the Sea Lord, mate? What's the first one?
Armies of the Sea Lord. So this is just like with Trace. You are limited in the Elven honors that you can take. In this case, it's once again Shadowstalker, Pure of Heart, and Sea Guard. So you can take the Sea Guard honor, which is great because it means like you can put this on a character and now they can ride around on a Lothran Sea Cutter, Sky Cutter, and that's not terrible. Unfortunately, you don't have any Archmages to like really take advantage. But yeah, it exists.
Of course, they don't say that the Sea Guard Garrison Commanders can join units of Sea Guard. I'm pretty sure they can.
Technically true. I'm sure they can. It'd be real bad if they couldn't.
Oh boy,
especially the one that buffs them.
All right. From the Mists is, I think, one of the better special rules here. After deployment, but before deployment, deploying units with Scouts special rules or moving units with Vanguard, you may immediately remove a single deployed unit belonging to your army from the battlefield and place it anywhere within your deployment zone. So it is a 1-unit redeploy after you've seen their entire deployment, but before Scouts and Vanguard, which I actually think is quite good. I actually think it's really quite good. You can literally, like, if you do have a big unit of like 24 Sea Guard, you can chuck them on the line right in the middle, wait to see what your opponent does, then bang them on the flank.
Yep.
Yep.
Anything extra here, boys? I'm not seeing, but I think that's
no. I mean, that's the nice part about it.
Yeah, I think it's quite good. Danny, what's next?
From the storm clouds, this allows 0-1 Lothran Sea Guard per 1,000 points, including Skycutters taken as character mounts can have ambushers for 10 points per model, which is nice.
Yep. So you can ambush your Skycutters if you really wanted to. The next one
is a way to manipulate it, but yeah,
I know. Yeah. Next one is Old World Rangers, 0-1 units of Shadow Warriors with a unit strength of 10 or less. So you can't really, go max bunga bunga with this. In a Seaguard Garrison Army Infantry, have the Ambusher special rule for free. I think Scout is generally better most of the time than risking it on the ambush. But
I mean, we've talked about this with all the other armies that try to do ambush stuff. Ambush kind of sucks real bad unless you have a way to modify it, like the Trace army does. Unfortunately, they give a bunch of ambush to this list and have no way to modify ambush. So it doesn't feel worth it.
But this last one is quite good because you're probably going to have to use this unit.
Pride of the Fleet. Units of Seaguard in this army, 0-1 units of Seaguard per 1,000 points in this army get drilled for free, so they can redress ranks basically all the time.
And again, regimental unit if that ends up mattering.
Yeah.
So all Seaguard get regimental unit, and in addition,
trying to figure out where that was in this book because I saw Ship's Company have detachment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then you can you get your ship's company and regimental unit, stuff like that. I'm not sure that bit's coming up. It's nice, I guess, if you can work it to your advantage. But getting drilled on the Seaguard is kind of cute.
Oh, for sure.
For free is kind of cute. So that's that's as big as you want to go. All right, next up we have Corhill, the first of the named characters. Lion Mane, captain of the White Lions. You know him, you love him. He's been around for a long time. He's still alive. No one's managed to kill him yet. Especially in the past. He comes in 175 points, so he's not cheap, but he's move 5, weapon skill 7, ballistic skill 5, strength 4, toughness 3, 3 wounds, initiative 6, 4 attacks, leadership 9. He comes with his special choppy axe, pelt of Charandrus, and heavy armor. Can be mounted on a chieftain's chariot, which is a new chariot we'll tell you about in a moment, for 105 points, so not cheap either. Elven reflexes, furious charge, so it goes up to 5 attacks on the charge. Mighty Constitution, move through cover, stubborn, and Valor of Ages. The Mighty Constitution denotes anytime he makes a charge move of 3 or more, gets +1 modifier to strength. In addition, immune to poison. Poison has to roll to wound as normal versus him. And then Pelt of Charandrus is essentially a Super Lion's cloak, +1 save always, and +2 against non-magical shooting attacks, and regen 5+. So it's like the best damn lion pelt in the world. But the real reason you take him is because he is a monster in combat. He has a +2 strength AP3 killing blow, not strike last great weapon. In addition, reroll 1s to hit in the combat phase. Now, our man Danny has some thoughts on this, but Peter's played with this guy. So what are your thoughts here, mate?
I mean, he's great. He's got 5 attacks on the charge. That chariot, the chieftain's chariot, it's essentially a lion chariot, but for 20 less points.
Yeah.
And you lose one of your crew to get it. And you also lose a 1 wound. So he goes up to 6 wounds if you put him on that chariot. And it gets infinitely faster, which is a big benefit for him. I mean, he's strength 7, killing blow, 5 attacks on the charge. Yeah. He's quite
weapon skill
solid.
7. Weapon skill 7 really
with rerolls means a lot of the time, all 5 of your attacks are going to go through unless you're playing into elite infantry. He's really solid. Is he something like an auto take? I don't think so, but he's quite good. I'm pretty impressed with him.
And the biggest argument for the chariot that I thought of when I was reviewing this is the fact that he gives exactly 0 buffs to White Lions, Lion Guard, or Woodsman. He does not increase the efficacy of any unit that he joins. So having him as a beta by himself for 280 points, which is pretty, it's not unreasonable price point for elves, for high elves, like to have a beta on a chariot, 6 wounds, absolute slaughter machine for 280 is not too bad. And yeah, like I said, he gives absolutely no buffs to any unit that he joins regardless. So him just being a solo beta, it seems to make sense to me. Anything in addition, Danny?
No, I think those are great points, Adam.
All right. Well, you continue with you, mate. Tell us about Vess.
Ashaya Vess, Sentinel of the Silent Isle, is a Seaguard style character. She comes in at 170 points. Movement 5, weapon skill, ballistic skill 7, strength 4, toughness 3, 3 wounds, initiative 7, 3 attacks, leadership 9. She comes replete with heavy armor, shield, Mathland's ire, and a warbow. Mathland's ire is her cool trident. And she has special rules of commanding voice, Ithamar weapons, naval discipline, rallying cry, strikes first, precision strikes, and valor of ages. Commanding voice gives her command range an additional 3 inches. So if she's the general, so in other words, she has a command range of 12. If she's your general, then it becomes 15. A Lutheran Sea Guard unit that's joined by her, this is the best part, this is precision strikes, gets to improve the armor piercing characteristic of their weapons by 1. So everything becomes AP -1.
Yeah, that's not just shooting or combat, it's both, which is
just everything.
Pretty exponential.
So pretty nice. And then Mathland's ire is a close combat weapon, +1 strength, so she's strength 5, AP -2 with armor bane 1, magical attacks. And during the combat phase, enemy models must reroll a single successful to hit roll made against a character with Mathland's ire. So she is only a 4+ armor save, which is a little rough, but you do have to reroll 1 hit against her, and she has weapon skill 7, which helps a little bit there too.
Yeah, so she's going to be hitting on 4s by elite infantry, and they have to reroll 1 of those. But yeah, you're right. She's like got no ward, no regen. She's just a 4 up in 3 wounds, a toughness 3. She's relatively easy to kill, should you really want to. What are your thoughts here, Peter?
Durable friend for challenges.
Yeah, she's going to need a challenge buddy.
Yeah. Precision strikes is amazing. It's a really good rule. Commanding voice, especially if you are going to run the Sea Guard detachment, you probably want her just for that, because that 12-inch bubble is pretty solid on Leadership 9, since there's no Leadership 10 access in Sea Guard. I have not gotten to try her out. I really want to. I think she's probably better in Grand Army, where you can get an Archmage or something and guarantee that she gets a ward save occasionally when she needs it. She's pretty cool. Ballistic skill 7, weapon skill 7 is pretty awesome. So. I'm
also of the opinion that in Grand Army, her joining a medium-sized unit to Sea Guard that has magic support that is buffable, that AP 1 goes even further. That increased AP just goes even further again.
Yeah, for sure.
You can actually make that something to invest in, whereas right now it just is what it is on paper. No real way to enhance it. I would like to note, I did forget to say this about our mate Corhill. He doesn't have ASF. He doesn't have always strikes first. No, I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, but he doesn't really need it. He's initiative 6 based with Elven reflexes.
Correct. He's 10 on the freaking charge.
Yeah. So he's 10 on the charge regardless.
And you can take him into any army that you have a unit of White Lions in. Same like Ashaya. You can take her as long as you take a Lutheran Sea Guard army. The only thing you miss out on if you're not the thing you get for Lutheran Sea Guard, the army list, is you get drilled on that one unit, and that's basically the buff that Sea Guard get in that list, which is kind of not enough to make a viable army out of
and to be fair, what it says, it's weird. It's not that it's that he can be taken in any army that can take White Lions. You aren't forced to take White Lions to take him. So it just keeps him from being taken in the Sea Guard list.
Correct.
And Ashaya cannot be taken in the Lions of Trace.
Trace. All right, Trace and Chieftains is up next. Peter, tell us a story.
These guys are cool. I'm actually pretty keen on these. They're a nerfed prince, I guess you could say. So they're movement 5, weapon skill 6 instead of 7, ballistic skill 4 instead of 7 or whatever the heck the princes are. But strength 4, toughness 3, 3 wounds, which is huge. Initiative 5, 3 attacks, leadership 9, and only 105 points. So that's pretty cheap for a 3 wound model. They come stocked with just heavy armor and a hand weapon. You can pay 4 points to give them another hand weapon, or 3 points for Trace and Great Blade, which is probably what you'll do. They, like Corhill, can ride a Chieftain Chariot for 105 points, and they can purchase up to 75 points in magic items. They have Furious Charge, so there'll be 4 attacks on the charge. They have Ithamar weapons, so you do get that AP1 if you want to go hand weapons, but you just won't. They have a Lion Cloak. They have Move Through Cover. They have Strikes First, which is great. They come stocked with Stubborn. Yeah, like they're quite good. They have the stats here for the Chieftain Chariot as well, which is for 105 points, it's strength 5, toughness 4, 3 wounds. So instead of 4 wounds like the regular Lion Chariot, it does come with 2 Tracian Lions on it, and it does have only a single charioteer. It's very clear they made this because they want you to just be able to use your regular chariot without having to swap a guy out on it. Yeah. I think it's kind of lazy. To be honest, they could have just said these guys could ride the regular Lion Chariot, and saved space, because most of the rest of the rules are the same. It's got Armor Bane on the Lions. It's got Close Order, Elven Reflexes, Fear, First Charge, Impact Hits D6, and Stubborn on the Chariot, and Valor of Ages. I really like the Chieftain. I think even on the Chariot, he's a pretty cheap package. And there's some decent magic items you can throw to, have some pretty decent beaters in there for not a lot.
So you're saying 210 points base value for the Chieftain on the Chariot at 6 toughness 4 wounds, starting at a 4+ armor. Like that is a pretty buffable profile.
Yeah,
with
and he's going to be
6 with 4 attacks on the charge, plus the Lions, plus the Charioteer, plus the impact hits. It's a lot.
It's a decent amount. I'm not sure if it's like on rate, but even him on foot for 105 points, 108 if you take the Great Blade, which you will. Like that's a pretty solid little beater dude. To run naked. So
yeah, I agree. Next up, we have Garrison Commanders. These are 90 points. So this is essentially the equivalent of the Chieftain, but for Seaguard. Movement 5, weapon skill 6, bliss skill 7, which is cute. Strength 4, toughness 3, 2 wounds only though. So it is 15 points less than the Chieftain, but you get 1 less wound. Initiative 5, 3 attacks, leadership 9, hand weapon, warbow, light armor, all the usual things you'd assume. Can be chucked on a Skycutter for 90, Griffin for 130, Great Eagle for 60, 75 points of magic items. Accomplished Archers is the special rules, Ithamar weapons, naval discipline, strikes first, Valor Asia's. Accomplished Archers is unless mounted on a Lotharian Skycutter, a Seaguard Garrison Commander has the evasive and fire and flee special rules. In addition, any unit of Lothern Seaguard joined by this model also gain evasive and fire and flee as long as it remains with them. And I think you would almost take one of these. If you're going to take the Seaguard unit and you're going to take Vess, you're going to take one of these because he's going to be the guy that lets you fire and flee, and he's going to be the guy that takes the challenges away from Vess. And I don't hate them. I do hate that it's only 3 wounds for this guy. Danny, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, they're cool. I like them because they're ballistic skill 7. Other than that, yeah, like I'm definitely I'd rather take a normal high elf commander if I'm gonna put a character on a Skycutter, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Because this guy's I think is wasted on that. But yeah, it's a cool model. I'm glad that we have him. Ballistic skill 7 is nice on the couple of magic bows that we have now. So.
Yeah. I'm a little annoyed that both Vess and this guy are only really takeable in Seaguard units. Like they don't make any sense anywhere else.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they did enough to make Seaguard like an archetype. In fact, actually, I know they didn't do enough to make Seaguard the archetype. Drilled isn't enough. Danny, what are your thoughts? So, Peter, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I agree. Like, infantry isn't that great right now, especially blocks of infantry that aren't like 4 points a model. Seaguard only have a 5+ armor save. Getting an additional AP, getting fire and flee and evasive, depending on how it works in your world, isn't a huge buff for that unit in that army.
I mean, you have drilled. Did you mention drilled? Or?
Well, getting drilled in it is fine.
Yeah.
But like, you already have kind of pseudo drilled with Lothern, right? Because you have the option to redress for free whenever you stand and shoot. I guess this lets you kind of do some really janky stuff with fire and flee where I wonder, would that work? If you choose to fire and flee, does it? No, it can't. Because I thought you could like redress and then fire and flee and then redress again, but no, probably not.
Well, see, this is the army that I thought would fight more like Wood Elves. Like one brick of infantry with Vess and one of these guys, like 6 Sky Cutters, a couple units of Reavers, and 2 units of Shadow Warriors is what I thought this list kind of looked like. And I thought that played a lot more like Wood Elves without any casters, than the Tracian list.
Oh my God.
Like, Well, we're about to talk about Stormweavers. I think Stormweavers.
Well, go on. Take it away.
Okay, well, Stormweavers. So this is your new caster that you have access to. Movement 5, weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 4, strength 3, tough 3. Only 2 wounds, which is a bit disappointing. Initiative 4, 2 attacks. Leadership 9, which is great. 85 points. They are a level 1 wizard that can take dark magic, elementalism, or illusion. They can be mounted on a unicorn for 35 points. And then they also can be upgraded to be either a level 2 or a level 3 wizard for 30 points per level. And they can take 75 points of magic items. They've got Ithlamar weapons, Elven reflexes, Lore of Safri, and the Valor of Ages. Unicorn, they are in other army books. Same as here. Movement 10, which is amazing. Weapon skill 4, strength 4. Gives you an extra wound, so it does get you up to that 3 wounds if you take the Stormweaver on a unicorn. So you might really consider doing that. Initiative 5, 2 attacks. I guess you could also give, like in the Seaguard list, give them the Elven Honor so that they could ride a Skycutter.
They can't.
Oh, they can't?
They can't take any honors.
Yeah. Ah, shit. So they're terrible.
I have many other reasons why they're terrible.
I don't think many. And they can be taken as a 1 per 1,000 points in the Grand Army. Like the unicorn, pretty solid. That's a movement 10. 3 wound situation here. Unfortunately, like you only have a rare slot Illyrian Reavers to protect them, which is better than nothing if you in the Seaguard list. You have nothing to protect them if you're taking a unicorn and you run Trace, so you want to run your Archmage instead.
Yeah. So points wise, if you take this guy to level 3, it's 145. It's 155 for the Archmage, which starts at a level 3. So it's 10 points cheaper for a level 3 if you were just going to run a level 3. And that's the best thing I can say about this guy. Danny.
Well, yeah, the Archmage gets an extra wound.
Yep.
Better lores.
Yep.
In addition, the Archmage gets to reroll a casting roll every turn, which this guy doesn't. I don't know.
Yep.
It's very, very much the most disappointing entry in the book because I'm like, oh, cool. You know, hey, if I can have a level 3, like I think I could maybe make Seaguard work. This is cool. But now I can't even join Seaguard units. Like, I was disappointed by this guy.
It's a Stormweaver. Where's the special ability? Where's the storm-related special ability? Right. Where's the calming of the waves or the such and such? Like, or pointed a unit and now it has to take dangerous terrain when it moves because you've conjured a wind or some shit. It's just so vanilla and bad. It really annoys me.
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
All right. Ship's Company, I'll get this one out of the way. It sucks. 9 points for weapon skill, movement 5, weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 4, strength 3, T3, 1 wound, initiative 4, 1 attack, leadership 8. Regular ass infantry with hand weapons and warbows. So zero up save. 7 up save. The entire unit may replace all warbows with thrusting spears for free, and you can upgrade to have your usual, midshipman, bondsman, or bosun rather. You want to get spicy with different unit champions. Standard musician, all that stuff. Can take light armor 1 point per model, putting them at 10 points each because they start at 9 if I missed that. 0 to 1 per 1,000 points can have replace open order with skirmish or replace Valor of Ages with veteran. And they come with detachment, elven reflexes, evasive, fire and flee, open order, and Valor of Ages, like I said. And I'm of the opinion these guys are terrible. And I'm sorry to say that. I wish they were good. Anybody got anything good to say?
I don't know if they're terrible. Like they're just militia, right? Like because you can pay, you can make them for free. You can give them thrusting spears and shields. So they end up becoming like 10-point spearmen because you have to pay an extra point to get the light armor that the spearmen just come stock with.
Or you can take like skirmishing archers for 9 points a model.
Yeah. Yeah.
Skirmishing archers have light armor?
Why?
Oh, you mean these guys? I'm in elven archers. Do elven archers have light armor?
Yes, they can have light armor.
Yeah,
you have to pay
I don't think
for
they come with it.
They pay for it.
Okay.
So, like the big thing here is what Danny's just saying. Like your archers, you can get them to be skirmishers for free. And there is one other thing that we didn't mention, and it is big. These guys come stock with evasive and fire and flee.
Yeah,
it's true. It's true.
That's like I think like the running ships company archers is not a terrible idea, especially given that they're a detachment for your big block of Lothern Sea Guard. I'm not sure I would run the Spearman variation of the ship's company, but the shooty variation is not a bad thing because now your stand and shoot is extra deadly, and you get guys that are pretty maneuverable.
Well, Dan,
you actually Stormweaver a place to live too.
That's you got. You've talked me around, Peter. I'm happy we do this show because I would have thought these guys were awful in my mind ever more. But yeah,
I don't think they're like
you make a good case.
They're not like mind-blowingly incredible, but like they're better than garbage. And they have war bows, so if you have any way to increase your strength, like they can actually do other stuff, right? Because war bows are strength based instead of
strength
like
user rather than
So
all right, into the Lions Guard, Danny.
So the Lions Guard, these are elite white lions. So elite, the most elite of the Phoenix King bodyguard, if you will. These guys have the exact same stats as white lions, except their weapon skill 6. And are white lions leadership 9? I feel like they're not. I feel like
they're leadership 8. So you get +1 leadership, +1 weapon skill.
Look at this go here. They come stock with the standard white lion equipment. You can take full command for 77 points a model. You can take a magic banner worth up to 50 points. And the Lion Guard captain can take 50 points of magic items. They come with the Champions of Trace special rule, Close Order, Elven Reflexes, Furious Charge, great rule, Lion Cloak, Stubborn, and Veteran. Champions of Trace just lets them, each guy, accept challenges as a character forever. So they don't need to have the general join them like normal white lions do to do that. These are a rare choice. It's a way to get your white lions close order. That is probably, and Fierce Charge is cool. Fierce Charge,
Fierce Charge is good.
Like 4 more points per model gets you pretty decent. Like +1, weapon skill 5 versus 6 isn't huge except against martial characters. Where you and like dragons, I guess you knock them down to hitting you on 4s.
Everyone issuing a challenge is pretty cute too. My fundamental issue is that I think this is a unit that will see play in the Grand Army and less in the Trace Army because it's a wrestler, and your wrestler's probably going to be Sisters of Avalon in the Trace Army.
I'll tell you this right now: you can't take them in the Grand Army, so you're good.
Oh, truly? Never mind. Okay, well, rough. Thank you for telling me.
They don't have the option. Unlike most of the ones will say, like, you can take them in a Grand Army. All this one says is if you want to play them in your army, you just play them as white lions, but paint them red and white.
Fair. Okay. So, well, these guys should be a special choice. I have fundamental issues. I mean, I know they're trying to do this tier up thing where you have the Woodsman in the core, the Lions in the special, and the Lion Guard in the rare, but all it does is mean that the Lion Guard get pushed out of the army. And that kind of bothers me. I wish they were a special choice so much.
I just like elite infantry are hard to play right now. If they weren't, I'd like these guys a lot more, especially close order elite infantry. Like Furious Charge is amazing, but like other people are probably going to get the charge on you before you get around that. That's a key problem here with these guys. Agreed.
All right, Tracian Woodsman, which is a unit that we're quite high on. So this is essentially the guys who just have been chopping down trees for so long, they're kind of just good in combat somehow. They're movement 5, weapon skill with skill 4, which is 1 less than white lions. Strength 4, toughness 3, 1 wound, initiative 4, which is 1 less than white lions, I think. Or is it the same? One attack. Yeah, 1 attack, leadership 8, 12 points per model. So a good 6 points less than your Lions Guard and 4 points less than... 2 points less than.
But like you also you start with light armor instead of heavy armor.
Yeah.
But this unit is very upgradable.
This is a great. I like this unit a lot. You can take warbows for 1 point per model. You can replace heavy armor with light armor with heavy armor for 1 point per model, so they go up to 14 if you do that. The same, you essentially then you've just got a 1 less weapon skill white lion that has a bow. You've got 7-point unit upgrades. They can have a lion cloak special rule for 1 point per model as well, so you're up to 15 to get them kind of to the same as white lions. So essentially you're just paying 1 point over a white lion for a bow, but you're 1 less weapon skill. They can have scout or ambushes. Scout is free. 1 unit ready to replace the Vanguard special with scout, and they can have ambush for 1 point per model. Elven reflexes, move through cover, skirmishes, Valor of Ages, and Vanguard. I like this unit. I like this unit quite a lot. I think this is a flexible, buffable platform that kind of does a little bit of everything. And to me, the funnest thing about this is that this is a better unit of Seaguard. I love that they put like the upgraded Seaguard in the non-Seaguard army of infamy. That's hilarious.
Who likes strength 4 bows? I mean,
that's my favorite thing about these guys.
Yeah, strength 4 bows. Lion Cloak's cute, so you can have a 4 up against non-magical shooting. Mm-hmm. And yeah, dude, skirmishers move through cover and like base Vanguard. These guys are pretty flexible.
Yeah, I really like running like a big unit of these guys with Vanguard and maybe 2 more, either just Vanguarding or paying like. If it hadn't been for the FAQ changing how Scout works, I would love that. Like having 2 of these guys with Scouts, or take one with Ambushers, because like the Trace Army does let you modify your ambush roll, and that's not a terrible thing to have. 10 or 12 of these guys pop up into your opponent's backline because they're great in close combat and they have good like shooting. Like they'll pick off dudes pretty regularly. Ballistic skill 4, strength 4 shooting is pretty sweet.
It's cute that they get a stand and shoot as well. Like you shoot, stand and shoot, take a charge. Yeah, it's nice.
They can do a lot of good stuff here. I really I feel like if you're going to run Trace, because you can't run them in Grand Army, like you're going to run a lot of these guys.
And I'm going to say I think this is the best unit in the book. Like of the units they gave us, I think this is hands down the best one.
Yeah, it
no
definitely is
to me.
Well, Danny, you're the lucky man who gets to tell us about the War Lions.
Sorry, second best unit in the book. War Lions are a unit of war beasts. They cost 18 points a model. Their movement 8, weapon skill 5, strength and toughness 4, 1 wound, initiative 4, 2 attacks, leadership 7. They are on 30 by 60 millimeter bases, so they're big cav bases, and then you can take 2 to 6 of them in a unit. They just have hand weapons, and they have the cleaving blow, fear, move through cover, open order, swift stride, Vanguard. Cleaving blow, of course, is killing blow without removing all the wounds. So if you roll a 6 to wound, regular infantry, heavy infantry, light cavalry, heavy cavalry, war beasts are not permitted an armor or regen save against it, and they take a wound. You can also take these in a high elf grand, high elf realms grand army. As long as you take that includes 1 or more units of white lions of trace, you can take 1 unit of war lions as a rare choice.
Oh boy, I don't understand. I don't get why they. What?
I don't hate them.
I don't get why they 1 wound.
Yeah, that would be better.
I don't get why.
I wish they were 2.
Me too. I don't get why a Saber Tusk is the same points but 2 wounds with essentially the same profile.
The Saber Tusk have impetuous, I guess, is the one downside to them, right? But still,
how many points is a Saber Tusk?
It's the same. It's like 34 points for a unit or 2.
Yeah, that's much better. But weapon skill 5 is dope.
Weapon skill 5 is dope.
And remember, in an army without cavalry, this is a way that you can get this. And they have swift stride and Vanguard.
It's 2 toughness 4 wounds with no save for 36 points.
Adam, I'm taking 6 of these guys.
You have 6 toughness 4 wounds with no save. Boy. Yeah, send it.
100 points, man. Come on.
It is kind of cute with Vanguard movement 8. Like you do just get to like turn 1 charge people's chaff and shit. So that's like movement 8 swift stride without impetuous, move through cover. Like there's a bit to like here.
Yeah. They're okay.
They're okay.
I wish they were skirmishers.
That's true.
Like actually, open order skirmisher, I'd be really into it. Open order's fine though.
Oh shit.
No, they're just open order.
Petey baby, Merworms.
This is something everybody's excited to hear about. So I'm here to disappoint you. Merworms are movement 6, weapon skill 6. That's pretty good for a monster. They're strength 6. They're toughness 6. They have 6 wounds. Someone is just like, we don't want to confuse those poor high elf players.
No.
They're initiative 3, so they're initiative 6 on the charge. They have 4 attacks. I wish they had 6. Leadership 8. Also, that could have been 6, and this would have been fine. 225 points. They're a behemoth on a 60 by 100 mil base. They've got lashing talons and a serpentine tail and briny breath and heavy armor. Their special rules, they have an abyssal cloak, they have close order, they have enfeebling cold, they do D3 impact hits. They're a large target that also has D3 plus 1 stomp attacks. They cause terror. Abyssal Cloak, any enemy model that shoots at them during the shooting phase suffers -2 to hit for firing at long range rather than -1. And Enfeebling Cold, when you're any model that's in base to base with this model, suffers -1 to their strength to a minimum of 1. Their Lashing Talons so their standard attack is AP1, Armor Bane 1, and one of their attacks must be with their tail, which is Strength +2, so Strength 8. AP2 strikes last. Briny Breath is a breath weapon that they have that's Strength 2, AP2, and if they cause any wounds with this with this attack, that unit is -1 to their initiative until the next your next start of turn subphase. Merworms are available as a rare choice in the Seaguard list, and if you take Lothern Seaguard in your Grand Army, you can take one Merworm as a rare choice in your Grand Army. These guys are okay. I wish they had more of a save. Just having a 5+ armor isn't the best.
Yeah.
But they do have shooting defense. They have a little bit of close combat defense. The -1 strength does matter. It makes a lot of the stuff that kills monsters now wound them on 5s. Which is
kind of annoyed. I'm kind of annoyed at how bad in combat they are, though.
Yeah, 4 attacks, 3 of them at AP1 and then 1 at AP2.
I mean, I'm real happy that their one attack is actually better than the regular attacks, which is actually quite rare.
Yeah.
Usually your one attack is worse.
They do have D3 +1 stomps and D3 impact hits, so they kind of like their combat res is going to be fine. They're not the worst monster in the game. I think they could have been slightly better for 225.
Yeah, I agree.
Like you're looking like a giant is 200. A chaos giant is 220.
Comparing to a giant chaos spawn.
Yeah.
Compared to a giant chaos spawn, there is no comparison. Which is like I guess weapon skill 6 versus like weapon skill 3 is a big difference. I don't know. I would probably run them in the Seaguard list as like an anchor. I don't know if I'd run them in the Grand. I would I would never run them in Grand Army.
Never.
So
Seaguard only. All right, into the new magic items. First up is the Woodsman's Axe for 90 points. It is Strength +3, AP freaking 4, which is wild. That it is just some guy in the woods axe and it's AP4. Magical attacks, Monster Slayer requires 2 hands and strikes last. The Woodsman's Axe may only be taken by models in the Trajan Warhost army of. I'm probably happy about that. I mean, it is 90 points, but you'd hate to see like some jerk with a 2+, 5+ regen Dragon Lord with this. He wouldn't have a ward save though, but he'd still have a 2-up armor. Any thoughts on the Woodsman's Axe?
So the problem with it is, by comparison to something that High Elves already have, for 70 points, you can just get the White Sword, which is also Monster Slayer, and it's Strength +3. And it strikes last, but it's only AP2.
Pathetic. AP2, get out of here.
I guess that's the advantage of this one is you can put it on a dragon. But you shouldn't.
AP4 is buck wild and
it's good.
So rare. But there is just something better coming up pretty soon for half the points. What's the next one, Peter?
The Bow of the Seafarer, crafted from a single piece of rare silverwood and gifted to Ulanor of the Sea God by Finubar himself. This mighty bow is rumored to be capable of sinking ships. So the Bow of the Seafarer, making its comeback, range 30 inches, strength 5, AP 3, cumbersome, okay. Magical attacks, multiple wounds D3 and through. So you've got your portable bolt thrower for the army. 50 points is probably what this thing is worth. It's quite cool. There are a number of things in this army that are ballistic skill 7, so cumbersome almost doesn't matter. You're often going to be hitting on 2s regardless. With this sucker, it's good. Like if you want to run it, you probably should. You can also put this on like a Sister of Avalorn champion. And they're ballistic skill 6. And that would not be awful. I think that would be kind of cute.
My only issue with that is it wants to shoot at different targets to the unit.
Yeah, you say that, and you're right.
I thought you were going to get me. All right, next one, Danny Boy, which I like quite.
We got the Star Lance. This is a 45-point magic weapon. The Star Lance is strength +3, -4 AP. With the strikes first special rule, you can only take it by models whose true type is cavalry or monster, and it can only be used in a turn in which the user is charged. In subsequent occurrence, or if the wielder did not charge, you have to use a hand weapon instead.
Mm-hmm.
But man, they're just giving out AP4 here. They're just like fistful of dollars AP4 right in your face.
And strikes first.
First. I mean, a lot of the stuff that is going to run this already has strikes first, but like you could put this on a Dragon Prince.
That's what
champ,
I'm talking
I think,
about.
and that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
You could put this. Hear me out.
No.
On an Archmage
with
riding a dragon, and then with illusion magic,
doppelganger.
And then doppelganger it, and that's not awful.
Bang. Yeah.
Except now doppelganger definitely doesn't work with strikes first, so it's not actually that great. Anyway,
Why not? Yeah, it does. It does. Why wouldn't it?
Because you cast doppelganger at your initiative.
Yeah.
So you get only two
it could still be like initiative 8, right?
Sorry, if you are reading it by a strict RAW based on just their FAQ, yeah, you're right, but like the precedent is pretty clear.
If you're doing it based on how they wrote it, then yes.
Well, no, that's not what I'm saying. I mean, they clearly said that it goes at the initiative of the weapon that the guy is using, because when you have strikes last, you do the assailment at strikes last initiative 1.
But they say that you cast the spell at your initiative, and then you just get the attacks at strikes last. Is how I read that. Which is insanity.
Okay. Maybe I read it.
Dum.
Yeah, that's kind of how they went with it.
Anyway,
which is crazy. But anyway,
Blade of Seagold, 40 points. It's combat strength +1, AP1, magic attacks, multiple wounds, D3. Blade of Seagold may only be taken by models in the Sea Guard Garrison Army of Infamy. Strength 40 points for +1 AP. AP1, multiple wounds, D3. I mean, multiple wounds, D3 is hard to come by, so it's actually a cheap price point for multiple wounds D3 at 40 points. But the actual weapon isn't super impressive, but still might be good.
I think I love this.
I think it still might be good. Yeah.
I think the problem with this is that it's in the Sea Guard Army of Infamy.
I'm happy. I'm glad it is. It's good.
Because basically I feel like what they did was they're like, people really like the Ogre Blade, but it's really hard to run in Sea Guard list because then you can't take anything else with it. So we'll give you a weapon that lets you also get a ward save. So you get like the mini Ogre Blade, and you can also take a Talisman of Protection with it, right? So
because you're talking about how you can only get 75 points.
Because the Sea Guard commanders can only take up to 75 points of magic items.
Yeah, I quite like it. I think it's actually for 40 points. I think it is one of the better weapons in the game
for sure.
In the 30 to 50 point bracket. Danny Boy, first of the magic armors.
So we have Armor of the Stars for 40 points. Has to be on infantry or cavalry models. It's a heavy armor. It makes you immune to Killing Blow. If you are struck with Killing Blow, you can still take armor and regen saves. Yep. Nice. Totally fine.
Yeah, totally fine. Petey, baby.
Golden Shield, 30 points. A highly polished shield inlaid with swirling patterns. The Golden Shield dazzles its foes. Golden Shield is a shield. Shockingly, in addition, any model that directs its attacks against its bearer during the combat phase must re-roll any rolls to hit of a natural 6. So it's giving you some like Nurgle vibes if you take it.
Yeah, 30 points. Meh. It's okay. Talisman, the Circuit of Atrazar, 55 points. The bearer of the Circle of Atrazar has +1 to wound on their profile. In addition, if the bearer's true tribe is infantry or cavalry, then +1 to their toughness also. 55 +1 wound, +1 toughness. I'm not against that. It is a lot, but it only works because you can't use it on the dragon. But what do you guys think of this one? Because this is cute, but I'm not sure.
On the dragon.
You can get +1
toughness.
Correct.
I can have that 10 wound dragon, baby.
Oh yeah,
10 wound dragon, baby.
Does this make any cavalry characters people are already taking better? I'm not sure it does. I mean, your BSB, but it's your whole. No, you can't take an BSB. It's only 50 points. Yeah, so it has to be a lord level character.
Like, The problem is like high elves don't have a good like monstrous cavalry model.
Yeah.
Like if this was in wood elves and you put it on a stag dude, like this would be wild. But
what about the unicorn guy?
Because I guess it makes him 4 wounds and toughness 4.
Oh yeah. No, it's not. It's
not 20 points left over for other things.
No, it's not changing the breakpoints enough to be worth it. Can a regular archmage go on a?
Yeah, not on a unicorn.
No,
they can go on. They could go on a horse and get this.
4 wounds.
I don't think it's worth it.
No, it's not. It's not.
I think the problem is like it's a toughness 3 army.
Yeah.
So getting this like tiny buff probably isn't going to help you.
Because I'm trying to find someone that gets from like 4 wounds to 5 wounds, and you're right, it just doesn't exist in this book. All right, Danny.
All right. After the Circlet of Atrazar, we have Sacred Incense, 35 points. Any enemy model that targets this character or any unit they've joined during the shooting phase suffers an additional -1 to hit modifier. So an extra -1 hit on your unit. Not bad. Pretty good on unit of skirmishers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I like this with your Sisters of Avalorn. If you love to run those big buses, it's great with the new Woodsman, White Line Woodsman.
It's even quite good on a decent sized unit of Shadow Warriors if you put the
it's also just, I guess it's just kind of good in general.
It is.
-1 to hit is pretty sweet for 35 points. It kind of just fits. It's one of the better magic items in this book, I'd say.
All right, up to the banners.
The Banner of Resilience for 80 points. Adorned with 1,000 emerald dragon scales, the power of this ancient banner infuses the elves that fight beneath it. A unit carrying the Banner of Resilience has +1 to its toughness characteristic, which is pretty cool. Getting a unit up to toughness 4. 80 points is a lot, though. So, not sure you're gonna do this.
Dragon Princess T3 or T4?
They're T3.
T3.
Yeah, no. Once again, this isn't a breakpoint changing modifier. Unfortunately, I mean, no. There's no T4 infantry, is there?
Nope.
No. Not even Phoenix Guard. All right, whatever. The Banner of Lothan, 55 points. A unit carrying the Banner of Lothan is equipped with thrusting spears. Half of the models in the 3rd rank or file make supporting attacks, rounding up. Okay, so you can make supporting attacks in an extra rank for 55 points with thrusting spears. Get out of town. Never heard of you for 55 points.
Yep, it's pretty bad.
It's bad. That's so bad. If the whole 3rd rank could, even then I probably wouldn't.
With the whole 3rd rank, now you're talking like potentially an extra like 12 attacks.
12 attacks.
Super wide, right?
Yeah.
But then it's such an expensive.
Well, and it would make drilled because you got drilled on that Sea Guard unit. It would make them feel a lot better.
Yeah.
But because it's half, it's trash. Danny.
So next we have the Banner of Balance for 25 points. Whilst in base contact, a unit carrying the banner carrying the Banner of Balance, enemy units cannot re-roll any rolls to hit or to wound. However, nor can the unit carrying the Banner of Balance.
Huh.
So is Games Workshop kind of saying here that rerolls are unbalanced?
Yeah, they are. Where is this big? Like, what matchups is this actually big in?
Dwarves, because they have hatred elves. Elves. Is it dwarves that have hatred elves? No, goblins. Goblins have fear elves.
They have fear elves. No.
Who has hatred elves? Somebody does.
Yeah, those guys hate this one trick.
I think it's just not there's just nothing that rerolls really. And I guess like Empire Knights won't get to reroll 1s to hit.
Yeah, on the inner circle. What's Primal Fury do now for Beastmen? Is that rerolls?
Reroll 1s to hit.
Yeah. So I think Beastmen suffer. Anybody that has hatred everything, this affects.
Witch elves.
Yeah, Dark elves hate this.
Yeah.
There's it's not terrible. I could see somebody running this at 25 points.
Dude, it's wildly powerful for 25 points. We're just struggling. The 3 of us are just struggling to think.
Well, I think that's why it's not wildly powerful. Because there isn't that many. But it will impact a couple of really big units if you find yourself facing them. So,
all right, last one, Peter.
Banner of Confidence. This silken standard fills the hearts of those that fight beneath it with confidence. A unit carrying the Banner of Confidence does not suffer the usual -1 to hit modifier when making a stand and shoot charge reaction. This is really good. If you're thinking about running that 20 points, if you're thinking about running that big Lothern Seaguard unit, or like a big unit of Sisters of Avalorn or something, no more -1 to hit for stand and shoot. It's pretty solid.
Yeah. I like it. You just shoot again. Shoot them. Try and charge.
The Woodsmen have to take a BSB to get this. That's like their one bad thing. They can't take a Magic Banner.
Yeah, it is what it is, though.
That's fine. They're junior.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, the Tracian Chieftain, we've already said, is pretty cool. And, like, so taking him as a BSB for an extra 45 points to have this might not be a terrible idea.
No, I agree.
All right. First, the enchanted items, Amulet of the Tempest. The Amulet of the Tempest may only be taken by a model in the Seaguard Army of Infamy. Whilst within 9 of the bearer of the Amulet of the Tempest, enemy wizards cannot add their wizard level to their casting rolls. It's 50 points. I mean, this is wildly good and is a way for the army that has no relevant casters to kind of make their casters or no casters better. But yeah, it's a weird one. Like a caster on a sea cutter that's just kind of jumping around your opponent's lines could be really cool to just like seriously just go and hug their level 4s and just shut them down. Because there are so many spells you just won't be able to cast without +4. Like you just most of illusion is just closed to you. Demonology becomes really rough. Elementalism gets wonky. Like your Wind Blast all of a sudden is a 50-50. It's kind of cool. I kind of like it, and I think if you are playing the Seaguard army, you kind of behooves you to take it.
Dude on an eagle just be a good.
Oh yeah, true. Yep, eagle.
That'd be good.
Yeah, I really like this item.
I like it a lot.
Really like it.
Yeah, this could make the army. Like your use of the guy who has this could make or break your ability to win games.
Yeah, I feel
like you have to take it.
I feel like you do. Like against like really maneuverable casters, they're going to be able to get at least a shooting phase in, but you're going to shut down their enchantments and their and their curses and stuff. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
Danny,
hear me out. Think about this: a level 2 normal wizard on a sky cutter with this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because then, like, you're in dispel range, so not only are they casting with no wizard level, but you're able to deny with +2.
+2, yeah. I mean, that guy can't take any other items. It's just him on an eagle for 50 points. With 50
it's
points
him and a prayer. And
a freaking goddamn prayer. They don't have a single bolt thrower, cannon, or ruby ring. But man, you're in. You're in. Let's do it. Danny, you're next.
Then this item is a good one. So this is an extremely common item called the Ring of Fury for 25 points. It lets you cast Hammerhand at power level 2.
Yeah, baby.
That is awesome. What a man. High Elves have consistently some of the best common magic items.
Yeah, like you could throw this on like every champ in your Grand Army list.
Yeah.
And wouldn't be a terrible idea. Like an extra 2d3 strength 4 hits is pretty great. For
Are they AP -1 too?
AP 2.
Are they AP 2?
Yeah, they're fantastic. Yeah. Like it's a significant upgrade on most likely what your attacks are. Mm-hmm. That's really good.
Next up is the Gem of Courage, also extremely common for 15 points. Enchanted by Claire in the reign of Belcorhadris. These small gems are awarded by the Phoenix King to the boldest heroes of Ulthuan in recognition of their bravery. A Gem of Courage may only be taken by models in the Tracian Warhost Army of Infantry. It is a single-use item. And once per game, when required to make a break test, the bearer of the Gem of Courage and their unit may roll an extra d6 and discard the highest result. This is okay. I don't think you'll ever use it unless you really can't find 15 points, but it exists.
Right. Up next, we got 3 left in the Arcane items. The Vortex Shard for 50 points. Single use. A wizard may use this item instead of making a dispel attempt. If they do, the spell is automatically dispelled with no dispel roll being required. In addition, all remains in play spells currently in play are dispelled, including those cast by friendly wizards. 50 points is a lot for this, and I still don't hate it, but the next one makes it kind of redundant.
Yeah.
Well, the Vortex Shard is okay, though.
High Elves already have this, like for 10 less points. It just doesn't do the second part, right?
Yeah. So I don't think this is that good. It's not shit, though, but I don't think it's takeable.
I think, like, if they hadn't just destroyed Sisters of the Thorn, this would be a much stronger case. Like, you wait until your opponent has cast all of their pillars, and then when they cast their last one, you use this on it, and they get rid of everything. Yeah. But anyway.
That's tricky. Right. Just like this side in the Trickster's Pendant.
Hey!
40 points. Single use. A wizard may use a Trickster's Pendant when attempting a wizardly dispel. If they do so, roll an extra d6 when making the dispel roll and discard the lowest result. If the spell is dispelled, the wizard that attempted to cast it cannot attempt to cast any more spells for the remainder of the current turn. However, if a double 1 is rolled on any 2 of the dice rolled, the bearer is outclassed in the art.
Ba-bow. This is fantastic.
It's great. I just wish they didn't have that last sentence. It's such like, it doesn't need it. For 40 points, don't put this rider on it. Don't be like that.
Yeah. We have already had this come up in games that we've played with this book, and it has been good pretty much every time. You kind of just wait for your opponent's first spell to be a medium cast, like they don't roll an A+ on the natural dice, and they're not rolling a 12 or a 13 or a 14. And you just wait for them to roll like a 5 or a 6 on the dice, so they got a 9 or a 10, and you just bang, slap them down and slap their magic phase out of their hand. I think it's quite good.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it as well. The timing is iffy, like, because you might not want to, if someone's got 4 casts and their first roll is really high, you might just be like, oh, is it worth doing it is it worth waiting for the next cast or trying to get a high roll myself? So it's really, I do like there's a bit of risk reward to this. Like, it isn't just a slap it down and get it done. Last one, Peter.
Oh, the Staff of Solidity for 15 points. The Staff of Solidity is solid. Single use once per game. When the bearer of the Staff of Solidity is required to roll on the miscast table, you can just not.
I love that they can make you can choose not to. Yeah. So you can use the item and then choose to still keep rolling the miscast table.
I want to miscast.
But I'm going to use my single-use item.
I know. It's funny because that's how it's worded. But this is great because sometimes you're going to miscast and kind of just want to get the roll because you're hoping that you'll get a 9+ and get the spell to go off anyway. Having the option to just ignore it is pretty cool. Not sure it's worth 15 points.
Me either.
But whatever. Yeah. And that's the book.
That is the book, diggity done. So when we come to it, we come to the end. We've got to talk about our rating system that we do for this book. Danny, as the high elf player on the show, out of 10, how happy are you with this Arcane Journal?
I'm probably about a 5.
Generous.
Yeah. Well, I really like high elves, so at least I'm getting some new options. I wish some of my options were a little bit more cooler.
Name 3.
I'm not sure. Name 3?
No, don't.
Yeah, no problem. All right. So the things I wish were cooler. I was really hype about the Seaguard Garrison. I was pretty disappointed with how that list turned out.
If they just had level 4 access, it would be a good list.
Fine. That's that's literally all it takes.
It wouldn't be broken. It wouldn't be too good. I don't understand why they don't have it. Like, it's not like it would make them like. You're so restricted. You're playing in such a small sandbox of units that a level 4 wouldn't make or break. Like, I think it would have been more balanced to put it in the Seaguard, not the freaking Trajan.
Yeah, I agree with that too. So, yep, I'm mostly disappointed by that. But otherwise, the Trajan list seems cool if you want to play a more infantry focused list. I think it's really neat. I'm glad that they have some units in other provinces for both of these lists. Like, you can take Reavers in the Seaguard list. You can take some Sisters of Avalorn and Shadow Warriors in the other one. Mm-hmm. And Shadow Warriors can go in the Seaguard garrison as well. I like it. So,
all right, 5 out of 10 from Danny. Peter.
we were pretty annoyed about the Empire book, and I think the Empire book did more for Empire than this does for High Elves.
I agree.
Completely agree.
I'd probably give it like a 4. Like the Trajan Warhost is kind of cool. The only problem with it is like it's not really imaginative, right? Here's 3 White Lions units, and then here's if you happen to model your chariot and you have an extra lion, here's a unit that's just that extra lion, it just feels like phoned in. I think that's the problem. Like the Seaguard list has a bunch of ambush, but no way to manipulate ambush. The White Lions list has like 1 ambush option, but can manipulate your ambush.
Yeah, makes no sense, man.
Anyway,
makes no sense. I'm whatever I gave the Empire one. This is one less than that because I think I gave the Empire like a 4 out of 10. So this
the Empire had like really good magic items. I think was the big thing for the Grand Army and the others. And this one, I feel like most of the magic items that are good are locked to Seaguard.
And I will say this compared to the Empire one, I believe the most competitive Empire list you can make is the Unga Bunga Daka Daka Nuln list. Likely. It's super matchup dependent, but all of Empire's armies are. Whereas I think the best competitive build you can make out of this is just a Grand Army. This doesn't touch the sides. Maybe 1 or 2 of the magic items make the cut, but that's it. I think this one changes absolutely nothing for High Elves, and I'm quite disappointed.
I think the Empire book, the Nolan list, is kind of meh. I actually think it's the Grand Army and Empire because of the Knightly Order. Getting White Wolves in your
that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Makes Empire actually pretty competitive, in my opinion.
Certainly.
Whereas I don't think anything in this really helps Elves, even on the Grand Army, right? Like the best units help. Like the Woodsmen can only be taken in the Trajan army.
The only units you can take in the Grand Army from this are the Merworm,
correct,
and the War Lions.
Yeah,
and I don't know if you're doing either of those.
And the Stormweaver.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Oh,
so like,
oh boy.
So like, I don't think this changes anything for the Grand Army because the magic items, they're okay. Like they're fine. The Trickster's Pendant is pretty good. Like you'll probably see that in lists occasionally.
The bow is good.
Legit. I'm seriously like the bow, the Starlance, and the Tricksters thing are the only 3 that I can see going into the Grand Army.
Yeah, and like the banners are, I'm sure someone's going to try to make Banner of Resilience work, but it's 80 points, guys.
I know.
So like, yeah. Please prove us wrong. The Ring of Fury, you'll probably see a good amount.
The Hammerhand ring is amazing.
But I just feel like High Elves needed a bit of a boost, and this isn't the bit they needed. So,
I'm of the opinion this doesn't change the meter for High Elves whatsoever, and that's disappointing.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll just have to see like how good Woodsmen are when people that are capable run them because like they seem pretty solid.
Well, but also a big part of my soul is fucking ecstatic because High Elves, fuck them. Hey. And on that note, we're going to wrap this up. We're going to go over and record part 2 and answer a bunch of patron questions, write some lists. And the first opening question we're going to have in our cold open is this the worst Arcane journal? And we're going to weigh it up against its contemporaries and see how it stacks. So hopefully you'll join us over there at That Old World Charm over on Patreon. Boys, say your good nights.
Goodbye.
You've been listening to That Old World Charm with those charming chaps Adam, Danny, and Peter the Falcon. Thanks ever so much. Cheerio.